think the thing that I took from my Panthers experience that I think played out the most in terms of informing how I covered the Canucks this past season was more about an understanding of how to go to the team with things that worked for them and that almost were like event based. And that's such a crucial part of the Athletic and a distinct part of the Athletic, which is that stunt, like it's like stunt content. You know what I mean? It's not enough for me to have the quickest or best version of a story. I also need to have the story that's the most different, right? Like it needs to be the most different if it's going to cause people to be willing to pay for it or retain the subscribers that we have. And in thinking through that and in thinking through my first season back on the beat, like this was the Canucks' 50th anniversary season. And I think because I'd worked on and actually sort of QB'd the Panthers' 25th anniversary season, I had some pretty concrete notions of the types of content that would work with what the team had already scheduled, right? And because of that, like the Canucks named Bo Horvat their captain at the home opener. And I got like former Canucks captain Marcus Naslund to write an open letter to him of advice on how to be captain. Yeah. The day that Alex Burrows' number was retired at Rogers Arena, I dropped a 5,000 word oral history of the Dragon Slayer goal, which is, you know, Alex Burrows' signature Canucks moment and probably the most famous goal in Canucks history. On the day the Sedin twins retired had their numbers retired, you know, I managed to twist the organization's arm to set me up for like an hour-long video session where I had, you know, two of the most unique players and the most cerebral players in the history of the sport sort of break down 10 of their greatest shifts at like great length with me. So I was able to build like event-based content programming around things that they were doing and get unprecedented access because I sort of knew that it would work for them and make sense for them. And I think a lot of that approach, a lot of that ideation sort of heft came from my experience trying to promote my own events back when I was with the Panthers. And then in terms of the other side of it, I think honestly, it's almost like a day-to-day thing. It's a really strange dynamic because, you know, it's more about, you know, as a PR guy, and I traveled with the team all the time. Like I did 82 games a year. You know, I was often with the coaching staff. Like I was sort of embedded with that. So I sort of have a really good sense for like what it means at practice when a guy leaves, or like what a bag packed in the room means, or how things are announced, just like the rhythm of how things work. Like I think that I'm able to see it in a different way because I'm used to coming in the morning, going to talk to the coach, making sure there were no surprises in my life, right? Trying to figure out like what will the media see and when, what do I need to be ahead of in terms of my announcement schedule? Like I had a really good sense of that just because I'd done it as a matter of routine with the Panthers. And I think that's an edge for me in day-to-day coverage just because I'm so used to it. And I think I have a perspective, having seen it from the inside and having been forced to anticipate my own organization's actions, that I'm really well able to anticipate Vancouver's from the outside now. So that's sort of the main thing that I think, like, it's not a big sort of scoop that came to me. I think it's just day to day. I understand how a hockey team functions from the inside, and that makes me better at reporting on it from the outside.